No, it's not. No, Patrick, look, it is. Like, I'm looking at the timer. We were 2 seconds in, and we're live, by the way. But as we're going through it,
Okay.
but no, it's all
I'm,
good.
I'm looking at 2 minutes, man. We talking music though.
Oh well, yeah,
We talking music, man. And we gotta finish that one.
it's all right. Aaron is good to see you again, and he is saying "my brothers" in Spanish, and that looks like German. Yeah, that's German.
Yeah, that's German.
So, yeah.
Dang, he trilingual.
Yes.
I can say no in like 3 different languages, bro. Seriously.
So with that, it is time to breathe again on this latest edition of the Bofa Sports webcast, streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. So you see us together, Patrick and Charles, and this is our opportunity, the show where it is saluting the champions. So we have champions in the NBA, NHL, and men's college baseball. And with the NBA, Patrick, we had the OKC Thunder win their first title. Well, the first title since they've been in Oklahoma City.
Mhm.
Of course, they were the old Seattle Supersonics, but they win the title 4-3, winning Game 7 over the Indiana Pacers, 103-91. And of course, yes, the injury to Tyrese Halliburton, it put a damper on things just because you want to see the teams at their best or as close to their best as possible, especially at this stage, Game 7. There will be a little bit of a deeper conversation in regards to the Halliburton injury in a minute and what is happening, because I mean, this is the third player who has blown out his Achilles in the playoffs, and
I blame the trainer.
I mean, it's, he wanted, and he wants to play. I mean, and he should. I mean, because you don't have these things. You don't have the NBA Finals be there every day. You get the opportunity to play in it. You want to play. So it was an unfortunate incident. And if you look at that replay, I remember I was watching it, and Patrick, you could see it. You're like, you.
When I watched it pop, I was like, oh, yep, done. Achilles tore, done. I mean, I even text you as soon as I told you I went back in and watched it. I text you, yeah, he's done. Achilles done. I hated it, man.
And and back in our 20s, dating ourselves for whatever, we're experienced. Back in our
experience.
Yeah.
See the grade?
Yeah. So back in our 20s and even in our 30s, you could look at these injuries and, like, I know, like me, I wasn't as squeamish and I wasn't gonna look away when you see an injury. I couldn't help but look away after they replayed the replay of it. I just said, "Oh, that's good," because you could see it.
Dude, when I was young, I watched that shit. I watched that stuff in real life. So anytime, I'll watch it the first time. The second time, I cannot watch it. Like broken bones. I cannot watch them a second time in baseball. Can't, never can. I could watch the Halliburton thing and just like cringe about it. But man, you hurt yourself in baseball, I will not watch that again.
Yeah, it's really, really unfortunate injury. Let me see so Aaron, really? Hallelujah, really? He said, my man said injuries suck, but I wouldn't. But I would also like to point out that no one said anything about Dre Greenlaw's torn ACL in the Niners last Super Bowl. Whoa, Aaron, so you wasn't watching at that point. I'm a 49er fan. So I totally saw that injury and how gruesome it went. Like, I mean, it was one of those things where, I mean, he's running out from the sideline and that happened.
Yeah.
And so, that you talk about hitting close to the heart, that one hit close to the heart for me. And yeah, some of these other injuries he pointed out, the Joe Theismann injury, gruesome, yes. That Kevin Ware injury, so that was the Louisville basketball player. Remember, he broke his leg running for the sideline. Very gross. Yeah. Smith's, yeah, terrible. And Yeah,
you always hate to see the non-contact ones. That's because that's where your body gives out. Like you have ran it so hard, and you know I have to give a lot of I have to give a shout out to Halliburton. And did you hear what he said when he was in the bed? They're like, you think you change your mind? He's like, no, that's Game 7, dude. I'm out there. And I'll tell you right now, that's Game 7, bro. I'm out there. Well, you got 10 broken fingers, a broken hand, your jaw's hanging out, and you're missing an ear. I'd be like, what? I'm out there. That ain't no stopping me. That's Game 7, dude. That is Game 7. There's nothing stopping me from being out there.
Yeah, and Aaron asked the question also about when television hides the injury, like they'll show it once, and then if it's graphic or they deem it to be graphic, then they don't want to show it. I think what that is the society as a whole has become a little bit more sensitive from when it was back in the 90s, even early 2000s, where now if something seems a little bit graphic, if something seems a little bit too taboo, even it's, oh my God, we don't want to show that because everybody.
Is that a word?
Taboo? Yes.
Taboo-y?
No, not taboo-y. No, I made that up.
Oh.
But
making sure that we're not in Webster's dictionary, but we're in Charles's dictionary.
Yeah, this is both a sports dictionary. And so
okay, so we can make up our own words. That's what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah, but Patrick, you do it all the time, and so do you not?
I might. I don't know. Yeah. I'm not gonna say. Look. I cannot confirm nor deny.
Oh goodness, okay.
Without the secretary's approval.
Aaron says Russell Williamson loves taboo. But yeah, look. So even when it's so taboo, a little bit sensitive, like the people. The society has become a little bit softer in that regard. So if anything does appear too graphic or what is deemed to be too graphic, they're not going to show it because they don't want to run the risk of offending people and having people come after them. Why are they showing this injury over and over and over again? I just think that's a reflection on society, really. And then
do it a couple of times, and then if you want to watch it, go to YouTube.
Yeah, exactly.
So a couple times on TV. I mean, they showed it several times on TV when I was watching it. I tuned it in, and they went back and forth to it a couple of times and watched. I mean, dude, when I watched that calf pop, then I pulled it up on YouTube, showed my wife, and she was like,
yeah. It was like you can see where it popped, and it's just like, ugh. Aaron also asked if Rick Carlisle, of course, the Pacers coach, if he would have rested him in Game 6, could he had a healthier Halliburton? I don't think Carlisle really had that luxury because they were down 3-2, and since they were down 3-2, this back's against the wall. You have to. Yeah, you have to go with your best people and stuff.
So Aaron, here's the question that you really got to ask. I mean, look, I get it. The coach is one that ultimately makes the decision, but I'm going to tell you right now, Game 6, whether I'm up 3-2, if it's my decision, which I would kind of feel like this is probably what Halliburton would be thinking himself, I'm in that game. I guess you could call me really old school. I don't miss games just because I have a little tweak or a little injury or something like that. I'm playing. If I can, I will be out on that field. I'll be out on that court. It don't matter. I kind of feel Halliburton was probably approached with it from the GM as well as the head coach. And it's like, hey, you think you're good to go? And he probably was like, what kind of question is that?
Yeah, but trying to play the long game potentially. Like you want to see, I mean, because he's a 24, 25-year-old player. He's the guy that you're building the team around, really. And so you try to look at it from the short and long game angle. But like you said, Patrick, I mean, it's the NBA Finals.
You're not keeping me out of that game.
You don't know if you're going to get there again.
Yeah, you're not keeping me out of that game. Like I said, man, I can have 10 broken fingers, my hand can be dislocated, and I'm missing an ear, and I'd be like, I'm out there, you know. So I guess that's just like my old school mentality. I kind of feel Halliburton is kind of like that. Especially when I listened to his interview, and they asked him, you know, do you think that it would have been different if he's like, I would have ran if this was next year and I was in the same position, I'd run it again. Yes, I would take that chance. That's game 7.
Yeah, and Aaron, look, I mean, the question is good. Like we understand why you asked the question.
Yeah. Just from my point of view, I'm on that court. Yeah,
we're gonna play, and I mean, I know, like we would go out and play if we were playing on the playground. So that's just so definitely, if we were in the NBA Finals, yeah, we absolutely would play. I get what you're saying with Giannis when he did get hurt in that series against Brooklyn when the Bucks did make that run to the title. It's and a lot of it does depend on that player's mindset too. You would want to think with those players being competitors, being in the league, they would do what they have to be out there. It did used to be like a badge of honor if you didn't miss games. I know in age now you have your load management and you don't really put in the work. And I don't want to act like they're at the NBA, so they put in some work, obviously. But when they get to that level, nowadays, the preseason is more rest time, basically. The first parts, and this is particularly the case in the NBA, the first parts of the season, November leading into December and going on toward Christmas, that's the time they use basically to get into playing shape. It wasn't like that before. The preseason, what's the preseason for a reason? Oh, I like that rhyme. But
but nice in the hip hop.
Yeah. But man, hey,
yo, focus point.
The versatility is coming out, baby. But the preseason, that's what it's designed for. It's designed for you to get into playing shape then. And once you get into the regular season, you're ready to go. You're good. But yeah, I mean, and the load management part. All right, Aaron, I believe the NBA, and Patrick, I'd love to hear your views on this, of course, but I just believe the NBA is they're in this period where it seems like the product is it's just wonky.
It's not like the WNBA, which now I call the WMMA.
MMA because of the fights. You know, Sophie Cunningham's jersey sales sold out that after she took
Did you hear that she is now outselling Caitlin Clark?
Yeah.
And I was like, wow. I'm like, why is it all of a sudden? Like, why is all of a sudden? Like, I thought Sophie Cunningham was awesome last year.
Yeah, she was a good player. She's been a good player.
But dude, I will say this. When she grabbed JC like that and she just pulled her in and was like whispering sweet nothings in her ear.
Yeah. You want to do that?
Dude, I pointed it out to my wife. I was like, look at the control she has on her. Like, everybody is yanking her, pulling her, and she's just like, kill you again, twice. You want to do it. And she's not moving. I was like, so I had to look it up. I was like, is this girl got like some sort of training or something? Of course, she's a black belt in Taekwondo. I was like, yeah, makes sense.
Aaron had said something. So he says, no matter how much shape you get into during the preseason, you can't take away all the jumps, landings, cuttings, breaking away. From a kinesiology major myself, the volume they accrual is absorbent. Yes, it is. And
well,
then,
or in Charles's terms, we're not spring chickens.
yeah, yeah,
kinesiology stuff.
and yeah, and see, and Aaron, the thing is, so yes, there is a lot of wear and tear that can come from that, and you just pointed it out yourself. You can lessen that if you do utilize your bench. I say that because you pointed out the Knicks getting bowed out. So yes, yeah, there is a lot of wear and tear that comes in during these seasons, but there are things you can do to lessen that wear and tear.
Yep.
And I do believe, and I guess this gets into that conversation about players getting the blowed out Achilles and getting these other injuries. I do think if you are able to train, you get into some better shape, like during the times when they're kind of designated to. I don't think those injuries really happen as much. Now, you do have your freak injuries, don't get me wrong. Like if you take a misstep, you can blow out an Achilles. You can get hurt walking. So I mean,
I pulled a hamstring one time walking.
Yeah,
so, I pulled a hamstring watching people pull hamstrings before. I'm like, that's just coming with age right there. I'm just like, hurt himself bad. Got me jumping and everything.
Yeah, and so like you said, there can be like those freak injuries that you take a misstep, like the Dre Greenlaw injury you pointed out. I mean, that's one of those things you're pushing off. You do that, I don't know how many times per day, particularly if you're on the football field, you're pushing off the ankle, and it's routine. And then all of a sudden it pops. So I think it's a combination of things. There are those freak injuries that happen, but
you can definitely take those down by utilizing your bench, and when you do that, you're still going to have your freak injuries that happen. You know what I mean? But at least you're not consistently wearing and tearing. I mean, I don't know. I kind of feel like your superstar on a court should probably not get 48 minutes. I kind of feel like you probably should get like 39. Something like that. But what did he say?
He said, sorry, this is just my wheelhouse and just want to broadcast it. So he's the theology.
Yeah, broadcast that. Toot your horn. Toot your horn.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you, you watch this show enough, you'll see me toot mine. Like, I will tell you how awesome I am.
So yeah, this is cool. And you're right. With this being a tendon, there is only so much stuff that you can do to it. And I mean, I guess the best thing you can do is try to
preventative maintenance, just like a car, just like a computer, whatever.
Make it as flexible as possible, since it is one of those things. Because a quick story, I had Achilles tendonitis myself. You remember me telling you about that, Patrick? Like at the last days of my active duty career, and I went to the hospital to talk to him about it because I could feel it. Like it was just really, really tight. And they told me, oh man, yeah, you ain't got no flexibility in that. Well, look, you're going to go ahead, you're going to see a foot doctor and you getting on profile, but you need to stay off of it. Get that rest, work on the flexibility, everything. So, I mean, it is tendons and everything in your body. I mean, look, the body is amazing just simply because it can take so much. It bounce back, it can heal, it can get back to where it was, or at least close to where it was. And then you have all the advances in medicine now to where you can have a quicker recovery time for these injuries. But I mean, look, hey, Aaron, I was a kinesiology minor, just so you know. I was a journalism major, but I was a minor. I don't know as much as you do. But
I don't know anything. I'm a network engineer as a major and mathematics as a minor.
Yeah.
There's a big difference. I don't know crap about the body. All I know is I like yoga and I do it twice a week. I stay as flexible as I possibly can because I have a 17-year-old and a 13-year-old that like to play. And so I like to play too.
And yeah, and like you said, you just try to do all the preventative maintenance as you can. And I mean, that's all you really can do. Yeah, because like you said, these things can. Thanks, Aaron. And so,
Wow.
and so you just try, you just try to make sure that you put yourself in the best way possible. But Aaron, you are right. I mean, with this being a tendon, those bad boys, they can snap at any time, and these freak injuries can happen at any point. Just like Knies for life. I love it, Aaron. Yes.
Well, I can tell you, it's not like Tommy John surgery. Nowadays, these kids are getting it at like what, 6?
Yep.
Ready to go.
The first time the elbow is sore, Tommy John surgery.
Yep.
I was like, I got it.
Years old, dude. Kids like, why are you throwing a curveball? You shouldn't be throwing a curveball until you're at least 15. And they're like, curve. And I'm like,
soreness. Tommy
yep.
John.
As soon as they get soreness, dads are like, let's go ahead and get it done.
Yeah.
He's only out for a year. He'd be 10 by the time he gets back. I'm like,
I thought surgery was supposed to be a last resort.
Yeah, no, not in baseball. No, with Tommy John surgery.
That's the first option.
That's the first option. Everybody's like, get that right now. Well, he doesn't even pitch. I'll freaking break it for him. Let's tear it.
All right. So Aaron asked about Tommy John. He said, what does it come down to? Too much volume and no rest. Travel ball is evil.
Travel ball. Well, okay. So here's my thoughts on it. First and foremost, like I always because I do a lot of I'm coaching catching, and I've had a lot of pitching coaches ask me like, what is your take on a kid throwing curveballs? I personally don't think a kid should throw a curveball until he's around 15, 16 years old. That's when he starts learning to throw a curveball. Now, I don't mind him trying to like pick it up while he's throwing it every now and then, but in a game, fastball, changeup, slider, cut. I mean, just stick to those pitches that keep his wrist breaking on it at a natural rate. You pitch that curve and that ball has when you flip it, that is a pull and it hurts. Tommy John, I would say it comes down to, I think it comes down to both volume of throwing and no rest. And I just don't think, I think parents get to this point where it's like, oh, we gotta, especially like the kids that make it to like the Little League World Series and stuff. They're like, throw them, because they want to win. And I think the parents want to win more than the kids do sometimes. And they don't take into consideration that they need to rest their kid maybe a little more than 5 games, especially if they throw like 70, 80 pitches in a game. They need more than 5 days rest. So my personal opinion, you give them 6, maybe even 7, and they start like a week later. But I think that's what it really boils down to. And then when you get older, like in college, I don't think it's volume of pitching. I think it's no rest. Because you'll get those kids, those young men throwing the ball so much, and they just want to win. And you can't get that man out of the field. You know what I mean? So I think it really does come down to no rest, not as much as volume, because they know how to flip their wrist, they know how to work their arms. I don't think it's more of like volume of pitching, but I think it boils down to no rest at that point. And hard-headed, and they think that they can take on the world. You know how kids are. Until they pull it, and then that's it, and then you got to have surgery.
Yeah, and
yes, parents push their kids to justify the cost, and that is where I feel at this day in life, travel ball is evil. I would much rather, instead of a kid take travel ball, I'd much rather him get one-on-one coaching and improve his abilities and really just focus on high school, college, minor leagues, MLB.
Yeah, and I think also the pitching or the amount of pitches there are. So it used to be pretty basic with the pitching: fastball, changeup, curveball, and now you got
fastball, changeup, slider, and curve. I give it to slider. The slider is a pretty old pitch. I'd give that one too.
Yeah, I mean, but you didn't really see it as much. Like that's the thing. Like it's
all the time.
Patrick, I'm talking about like back 90s. Yeah. So as you're catching, yeah. So the slider came through. But like in the 90s, I guess back when Greg Maddux was at his heyday, and then you had Jack Morris and pitchers like that, even Fernando Valenzuela for the Dodgers.
Oh, well, when the fastball was like 89 miles an hour and everybody was like, oh my God. And then these guys are coming out throwing 95. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
And that's the thing. So like it was pretty like, hey, fastball, changeup, curveball. And then the slider started to be seen, started to evolve. But now you got sweepers. You got
rise. You're starting to get a rise ball, rise cut ball.
Yeah, that's a lot of torque on the elbows now.
Yeah,
and I believe with
and it pulls your wrist in so many different ways. You know what I mean? You got a fastball that you can release and you curve it like this, and then you got the fastball you curve like this, and you got the curve ball that goes like this. The slider that pulls down. Yeah, you got so many things that just really torque your elbow a lot more.
Yes, and so it's never really, or at least it doesn't seem like it anyway. But when you hear a pitcher say, all right, he's got some, let's go with elbow tightness.
Yeah.
Right? So elbow tightness, you're like, all right, well, let's take him out a start. Let's see what rest does and how he feels. But it's elbow tightness, and then the next day, Tommy John.
Tommy John surgery will be out for the rest of the year and the first half of next year.
Yeah, I'm like, what? I thought he just had
tightness.
Yeah, I thought it was it's a sore arm. You know,
you have that, and you start your next. You miss a start, and you start your next start.
Yeah, like that's
not now.
Not even an option.
You ice it and go get surgery.
Yeah, not even.
they're putting it in the ice as they're going to the doctor's office.
Yeah, right.
You ain't even finished the game yet, and you're already going to get the damn thing cut. I'm like, come on, give it a second.
Yeah, again, man, I just thought surgery was supposed to be a last resort, not the very first option. That's what I thought. I don't know what happened.
That injury is like. Oh, you know what? In between Alabama and Georgia, you get a high ankle sprain. What's the first thing they do now? Take them to Tuscaloosa, get that surgery, bring them back. They're back in 3 weeks. High ankle sprain. Yeah, you'll never get that high ankle sprain again. What?
It's wild. Yeah. But like this conversation about injuries and how the evolution of how players heal, how players train. I love that conversation too, Aaron. And so, hey, man, anytime you want to bring the kinesiology into this show, you go right ahead. All about it.
Yeah, I'll sit over here and look pretty.
Please. Yeah, man, you did pretty well. But the Thunder on the other side. So here they are. They win the first championship since they've been to OKC. And they have a very young team going forward. And could it have the makings of a dynasty? I'm not ready to say that yet.
No.
Let's see what the other teams do. Let's see how they adjust. And let's see what changes with the Thunder. I will say their core, I mean, they got them signed for a good little bit. And they are young. And they do look good. I'm not going to sit here and say that they don't. And, I mean, they're probably the favorites to win next year's, but there's been a little bit of a cycle where the team that has won the championship.
Well, haven't we had like 7 different winners in the past 7 years? So I mean, let's calm down. Hold on, let's calm down. Let's see what moves are made.
And these teams haven't. The team. So Boston this year, the Nuggets last year, who won it? The Warriors, and then the Bucks. Each of those teams haven't made it past the semifinals.
Yep.
Or like the conference semifinals. So let's chill. Let's see what happens. But this was a big growth season for OKC because it was one of those things where they went through these situations. They kind of learned on the fly. They had the number 1 seed last year. They went down to the Dallas Mavericks in the semifinals, and they came back, won 68 games, and went through this was a pretty tough run. Well, okay, so they swept Memphis, but they went to 7 with Denver. They were able to get by the Minnesota Timberwolves in 5, and then they had this series with the Pacers that went to 7. So this was a young team. You're seeing them grow up, and I mean, look, they deserve to win. They deserve this title. They definitely they were the best team all season, really, from top to bottom, from start to finish. They did almost get got a couple of times,
but they didn't.
But they were able to pull on through, and so I can tell you this. So I remember going up to OKC for my reserve duty. I went up there for what was it, Patrick? Like 3.5 years, basically.
Yeah, almost 4 actually.
And the Thunder they're the only game in town. That is the only pro team they have. And as somebody who grew up in San Antonio, I know what that feels like because the Spurs are the only pro team in town. Well, like out of the 4 major North American sports leagues. And when Kevin Durant left, because I was still going up there when Kevin Durant left, I mean, that was a gutted city, a gutted franchise, and they didn't know how things were going to look. And to see them come out of that, to go through those lean years. I know Russell Westbrook did what he could to help them stay afloat, but eventually he left.
His triple-double.
Yeah,
50-50 at the time.
Yeah.
So now that boy ain't nothing. Like Mr. 25%.
And so he left. They had the year where they had Westbrook, Paul George, and Carmelo Anthony there. That didn't work out that well. They traded for Chris Paul, and him, along with all the picks they got from the Clippers trade that sent Paul George over there. And of course, SGA was in that trade, along with those picks, those first-round picks, all those first-round picks they got. And then you start to develop. You draft Jalen Williams. You draft Chad Holmgren. You draft Cason Wallace. And then you make a couple of moves. You make a trade for Alex Caruso. You get Hartenstein to come over from the Knicks. And you see all this come together. And it was just a plan that Sam Presti, the GM, was able to put together. And you see these teams develop. It does help. I know no one has patience these days. And I know everybody wants to go and try to get the next high-price free agent, to make the big trade, to get some star and gut your depth in the process. But it does actually help to stay patient and watch these players grow and develop. You might
exactly. Look at the Hawks. We have been patient and growing for the past 45 years. It's almost our turn.
It always comes back to Atlanta teams and your heartache, Boro. It is funny how you always bring that up. We're going to talk about the Hawks here in a little bit too.
Oh, God. For what? What do they do?
Well,
will they lose? Oh my God!
So it actually goes into what the Boston Celtics are doing, because the Boston Celtics apparently decided they're just going to gut their team and get a couple of draft picks and then some other players. So what they have done in the last couple of days, they traded Drew Holiday away to the Portland Trail Blazers for Anthony Simons. Good young player, 26 years old. And then speaking of the Hawks, well, now they have Kristaps Porzingis. That happened about an hour or so ago. That was reported. Hour or 2 hours ago. So so the Hawks have Porzingis. Now, hopefully, we know the deal with Porzingis. It's always a question with his health. And
a question. That's what Atlanta does. They always pick the people with questionable health.
and so Boston, I think they get Niang, because it's a 3-way trade that also includes the Brooklyn Nets. So Porzingis goes to the Hawks, Niang goes to the Celtics, and Terrence Mann goes to the Nets. And I'm sure there's some draft compensation that's in there. I'm sure I'm sure there's like 30 first, second, third round draft picks that went along with that, and some money. Oh, right. Like the pick for 2040 is in there. Yes. Because we don't draft it. Like when we talk about,
and if y'all win 50 games, we'll give you the pick, like year 3000.
Yeah. Like
my first round in year 3000. Yeah. Okay, cool. 950 years away. If we get that. Cool.
Like we talked about last week, where draft picks, unless you have, or actually, no, it was a shorty that I did, where the draft picks, unless it's in the top 10, they're just trade bait. It doesn't even matter now. Yeah. Like anything 11 on down.
Yeah.
So that's your Hawks news there. They have Kristaps Porzingis.
Okay. We'll see how that goes. Okay. I mean, I like it, but we'll see.
And I mean, in the Eastern Conference at this point, because of the injuries you have to Tyrese Halliburton, to Jason Tatum, to Damian Lillard for the Bucks, it's been like the East now kind of wide open, because there's a lot of
that's the way it's been for years. Hopefully you ain't gonna change that.
You were pretty adamant that the Celtics are going to win the last couple of years, Patrick. So,
I was.
Yeah. So, I remember this stuff. And so, but
can't get anything by you.
But this year, or going into next year, and we'll talk more about it as the times come, but with these injuries, seems a little bit wide open might be a word, but uncertain is another word too, because you just don't know how these teams are going to look. And the draft is actually tomorrow evening. It's Wednesday evening, 2-day event. And then you got, and then free agency will be starting. So there's not really much time for NBA players to really rest. They'll be back in camp in September. So
tomorrow,
yes,
in 5 days after the draft, they'll be back in camp.
Summer ball will be happening.
Yeah, and Halliburton will be wheelchairing his head and be like, "You had all off season. Yeah. Why are you not well?" What?
It's 3 months, and so
why are you not well? I mean, like literally, you've been injured all season.
And so with that, draft's about to happen, free agency is about to happen, so there's going to be a lot of craziness happening. But congrats to the OKC Thunder for winning that championship, and enjoy it down in OKC.
Yeah, well earned.
Happy birthday to you tomorrow too, Aaron.
Happy birthday, dude.
And so let's go over to the NHL. And this newly crowned champion is a repeat champion.
This is not a newly crowned champion.
This is a repeat champion in the form of the Florida Panthers, who were able to finish off the Edmonton Oilers in 6 games. And hey, Patrick, we talked about it off net, and I know with the Panthers, because this is one of those years. The regular season was tough for them. Mm-hmm. They had a lot of injuries to key personnel, but they were able to get back healthy in time for the playoffs, or I guess as close to healthy as they could. And what was forgotten in the midst of them getting through the Eastern Conference Finals through a good Carolina Hurricanes team and then beating the Oilers in the Stanley Cup final was they were down. They were down 2-0 in the semifinals to the Toronto Maple Leafs, and they were down 3-1 in game 3 of that series. But they were able to win that game in overtime, come back, win that series in 7 games, winning 2 games, both 5 and 7 in Toronto. And it's almost like once that happened, the Florida Panthers team that we become accustomed to seeing they were back. Like they were in their full form. And it's almost like something told them, like, wait a minute. Not saying they ever lost that belief, but doing that, coming back from 2-0 down like that, this is one of those, oh, we got a real shot now. Oh, we could definitely repeat. And they played like it. And they came together. That style, which Florida can play any style, all that came back to fruition. The goaltending that they had with Bobrovsky, the 4-line play, just not missing a beat. They got Edmonton completely out of their game. They started trying to switch goaltenders, and Edmonton was trying to out-physical Florida. That was a losing proposition for them. And in game 6, it just looked like Edmonton was a defeated team. It's almost like they tried everything they could. Florida's still there. They didn't have anything left.
Yeah, they didn't have. This is weird. This was weird. They didn't have any questions for the answers that Florida had. That's basically the way I saw it. Especially in game 3, dude. With game 3, they threw everything that they could. And they couldn't do anything with that. And that was just a really weird Edmonton game, right? So, but they bounced back in game 4. I was like, okay, because they needed that extended break. So they came back in game 4. I saw that, but then game 5, man, it was right back to the same old stuff. And in game 6, same old stuff. And at that point, that's when I coined it. They just didn't have the question that Florida had the answer for.
Yep. And it looks like, so I have seen something. So Aaron, jumping back into the NBA real quick. So it looks like the Dallas Mavericks have re-signed Kyrie Irving to a $119 million extension over 3 years. So that contract, so if this is what Dallas is doing, that contract just says that they are invested in, I would say, the 2-3 year window they have right now to win a championship. Now, obviously, look, we know they're going to draft Cooper Flag tomorrow. And
that shouldn't take long either. Like, first pick, give it about 30 seconds. They should draft him. If that goes anything longer than a minute, I'm going to be like, this ain't a drama series. get the pick in. Like, we all know you're going there. Come on.
And I think they've already made the pick. That's just the official. Hey.
Yeah, they already got it sent in.
Yeah, Adam Silver just has to read it out.
Yeah, he just has to read it out. And I swear, if he says drum roll, please. Come on, Adam.
And so if he and so if that does, that goes into that window they have once they traded to bring Anthony Davis over there in the Luka Doncic trade. So you sign Kyrie Irving to 3 years. You have Anthony Davis. He's under, I think he's got 2 years left on his deal.
Yeah, he's got 2 years.
And
2 years and an option.
Yeah. So you want that core along with Cooper Flag. You get people back because Dallas was really injured this year, like really injured. So if you get all those players back, that just feeds into that window. You feel you can win a championship right now. Again, things are kind of wide open in the NBA, and you want to make sure you have, the core intact to make that right. And again, you know you're going to have Cooper Flag there to build around for the future, but you want to make sure that it's solidified that you win now. So that's how I look at that one with Kyrie. And so, getting back to the Panthers real quick. I was waiting for you to say something. So getting back to
I ain't got nothing else to say. Basketball is old news now.
And so getting back to the Panthers, unless it's the Hawks. Getting back to
that's old, man. I've been old news for 40 years, Charles. Come on now. I'm waiting for that College World Series. That's what I'm waiting.
And so with the Panthers, so there's 2-time champs now. They will go for a 3-peat. I know they do have a few questions there. I think you got to see what they're going to do with Marchand. I think their captain, Barkov, might be coming up for a deal as well. And we'll see what they do there. But other than that, I mean, Florida looks pretty well intact.
Yeah, I hope my boy stays there, man. You know that's my man right there, Brad Marchand. That dude he's bomb, man. So I hope he stays. But everybody's like, you think he'll go back to Boston? No. It'd be funny if he goes to Montreal. It'd be funny.
Just fight.
But I think he'll stay in Florida. Oh, and did you hear? Atlanta just got approved for another hockey team. Whoa.
It might be. So I guess what I can say about that one, and because you've had a swell of success in the South with hockey. Of course, you got the 2 teams down in Florida. You have Dallas, who's been doing well. So maybe they're saying, well, if we put this team in Atlanta, maybe we could capitalize on this and see what happens. I don't know.
Oh, we'll see.
I know the Thrashers didn't last too long. I get it, but
they also have bad management and bad ownership. To be honest with you, it has to be the right person, especially in the South, because you got to get past baseball and football in the South. And if you can get past baseball and football, you have a good chance. But yeah, you got to get past football. Particularly, you got to get past football.
All right. Well, and then the third champion was crowned in the College World Series, as you had mentioned. And this was the LSU Tigers who won it, beating Coastal Carolina in the series. They swept that series 2-0.
6 in a row, SEC. Just saying.
Yeah, so you have 6 in a row for the SEC. This is LSU's second title in 3 seasons. And I mean, I remember talking to you about this. Coastal Carolina, they had that. It looked like Aaron is hating. So with that series, I mean, LSU won these games 1-0 and 5-3. And in talking with you, Patrick, I remember talking about Coastal Carolina and saying how great their pitching has. And the catcher was definitely
that catcher, man. I'll tell you, Coastal Carolina's catcher. I told you, you got to give that boy credit.
Aaron is hating. Look. You know what was really funny when both of the Coastal Carolina coaches were ejected. One of the umpires fell trying to hold him back.
Oh yeah, I saw that. I was like, man, that Coastal Carolina coach's aura is big. Because he knocked him down without even looking at him. He was like, whoop.
I mean, the umpire really he had a tight ship on that one, man. Like, it's almost like the manager said something and he like gave him a look. He said something quick. That Coastal Carolina's manager must have said a magic word because he didn't hesitate, man. He's like, get out of here. He was tossed quick.
He said some words. You can see it. He was mad. That dude came out of there, I mean, and just started yelling. I was like, and you're out. And then that's when the ref that's when the ump fell over. And I was like, oh yeah, you're definitely out. And then I went back and looked and I was like, he didn't even touch him.
yeah, yeah. He just stumbled. He tripped over his own.
I was like, that dude's aura was crazy. Knocked him down without even looking.
Yeah,
Yeah, he flopped. LeBron's over going, he didn't do that right.
Yeah,
He didn't do that right.
He got to leap into the air. And
you got to leap into the air and give it back. And then you got to cover your hands like this and go.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. He didn't go to the LeBron James School of Flopping, like the Academy Award winning flopping.
Not yet.
Yeah.
He's gonna get nominated. LeBron's gonna be like, I can work with that. I can work with that.
LeBron's the chairman of the board for the Flopping Academy. It's crazy.
They actually call that clown college, Charles.
I mean, look, you gotta make sure you have the 5'10", 170-pound Nate Robinson there.
Yeah.
6'8", 260 LeBron into the fifth row of the
he had his hands up like this, and then LeBron went.
Yeah.
He went out of the camera into the fifth row. I was like,
yeah. And then he's still, as he's in the crowd, he's still looking up. They see me, yeah. They see.
Did I get it?
Oh, Did I get it? Did I get the flagrant? Did I get the flagrant back?
With the flagrant 6.
Yeah.
For you, LeBron, we invented the flagrant 6.
Meanwhile, Nate Robinson is looking at the ref like, "Come on, man, look at me."
Come on, man. And he's like,
Yeah.
Flagrant 6, automatic ejection for the next 6 years of your life.
Yeah. But that's like my career. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Lifetime ban.
Yeah, lifetime ban from NBA. Flagrant 6.
Oh,
LeBron be getting away with that all the time too. Did you see that? Did you see where he got hit in the head and it went like this?
Yeah.
And he was like,
Yeah.
Oh, it don't hurt that bad, G.
Patrick, he had to strategically place his hand there. And then,
I was like, dude, quit. So in baseball, the only thing that ever came into my head like that. So in baseball, when you get hit, they'd be like, "Oh, just put some dirt on it." Yeah. All I can see is LeBron going, trying to get something on it because that dude.
So Aaron asks, so the real question is, what sport are y'all watching to get us through our football withdrawals until the season starts? Well, we're watching baseball.
Yeah, we've been watching a lot of baseball. Well, God, we watch WNBA now. The WMMA. Because that has gotten so much more interesting.
Look,
never in my life have I wanted to go to a WNBA game until Caitlin Clark. I can tell you that. Now Sophia, I call her Sophia World Peace.
Stop.
That's what I call her. So
the Malice in what is it? Cambridge Fieldhouse is what it is. Canadian football. Yeah, I'll check out a little bit of Canadian football too. Like, I mean, I'm gonna watch something. Look, hey, we can watch the U.S. men's soccer team disappoint us again when they
No, we're not even. No.
Why not?
No. Nobody's gonna watch that crap.
Oh, dude, come on now. The people are gonna watch it. You know, there's some.
I'll be honest with you. What I'll tune into, I'll probably tune into a little bit more like Formula One, because I like watching that. So I'll start tuning into like Formula One, WNBA, and baseball.
So,
because everybody's got to watch Sophia World Peace. Man.
Sophia World Peace.
I gotta watch her, man. She be fighting people now. I'm like, okay.
She's the what they call them. She's the
goon.
The goon.
She's the goon. She is the goon of the WNBA, WMMA. She is the goon.
Sophia Cunningham. She's the
she is like Chara for Boston back in a while, man. They'd be like, hey, Chara, we know you can't skate, we know you can't shoot. We just need you to go over there and punch that dude in the face. And they're like, he's like, okay. That's Sophia Cunningham. Sophia World Peace. I'm sorry. That is Sophia World Peace. I call it. That's what.
She's the walking foul now. Like she has more fouls than points.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, Sophia, we know you can't do anything. Just punch her in the face. Punch her.
Oh boy.
Like, look. Okay.
Patrick, real quick. In the NFL, so there was a collusion ruling here that the NFL and NFLPA, I don't even know why they're a players association, because it's not like they fight for the players, but you have
yeah or
but,
IRS,
yeah, right. But you have
should I keep going, Charles?
No. My eyes are burning too. From I don't know if I'm crying or laughing or whichever one is happening here, but
hey, one or the other.
But basically, what happened here is there was a collusion from the NFL, and this was, I guess, reported on by so his name is Paulo Torre. So he used to be on ESPN, and now he's doing some independent things. And then you got Mike Florio, Pro Football Talk on NBC. But basically, there was a collusion ruling that was happening that the NFL and NFLPA, I guess, tried to cover up, saying basically telling the teams not to give them as much guaranteed money. And so this comes around the time, this was back in 2022. That was around the time the Cleveland Browns gave Deshaun Watson the fully guaranteed deal. So after that happened, I guess Roger Goodell, the commissioner, was telling them, man, let's not give as much guaranteed money out here, especially the fully guaranteed money. And I guess this affected some of the deals that were done for guys like Lamar Jackson or Kyler Murray, when Russell Wilson got his big deal to sign with the Denver Broncos. And there wasn't the fully guaranteed deals. This is not surprising to me because the NFL is just trying to keep as much money in their pocket as possible. And so if you don't give as many guarantees to the players, then that is more money that you can keep for the owners and for TV rights. So them colluding here, if allegedly, them colluding here with the NFLPA, basically not like, because the report wasn't released. Neither one of those, neither the NFL or NFLPA wanted to release that. Why would you not want to release that? I wonder why. And so, and so, this is the latest of the NFL. Just basically, hey, money. Look, you got all these billions of dollars coming in, and you still greedy. Still greedy.
Yeah, but dude, that's been the NFL for as long as I remember. I mean, I remember when they were like, no, let's not put padding in helmets and let them get concussions. Maybe they'll forget that they played football and we get to keep all the money.
All the lawsuits that came down.
And then all the lawsuits came in. They're like, man, we really kind of screwed the pooch there. So why don't we take out the padding in the helmets and make sure they get the concussions, and then we write it off.
And then
public outcry happened.
Start this campaign about player safety all the time. Yeah. And so
player safety.
I mean, like, come on, NFL. Look, we know they're not going to do this, but just be transparent with us. You just want all the money to yourselves. That's it. Just tell us that. It's okay.
Look, it's really simple. NFL. Here's a bit of advice, and I don't give advice. I give opinions. But here's a bit of advice. The last time this happened, the NCAA went to NIL and they ruling themselves out. So let's be a little bit more transparent about the situation before you kind of screw the pooch and you no longer exist. Just saying. Just throwing it out there. Words of advice from both of sports.
The divisions or the conferences take over the NFL.
Yep, divisions take over the NFL, and then next thing you know, who's the commissioner? We don't need one.
Well, so any new happenings with Bro Epic? I know last week you said any new ideas in there?
Not as of right now. No, we're really just trying to get back into the groove of filming again, and because I was going to try to start going back into posting this week, but it's going to be next week. So we're going to get the posting back in next week. We got to get some more footage, and the only thing that really kind of solidified over the past weekend is the fact that we are going to probably film in the first weekend of July the kids versus parents kickball game.
All right, and hey, for Bubba Sports, y'all know what's coming up. And look, I just got to go to work on it.
Yeah, I mean, thumbnails, Discord, thumbnails, Discord. Let's start with those two.
Just saying, right? And so with that will conclude this edition of the Bofa Sports webcast. That is what we are breathing on for this evening. Y'all make sure y'all go visit the Bofa Sports YouTube channel, smash that subscribe button, and follow the Bofa Sports Facebook page. Great show, Aaron. Thanks for tuning in. And again, keep it coming. You want to bring in the kinesiology stuff? Let's do it. Let's go. We're all about it. We don't hide from any topics here. So everybody take care. For everyone who tuned in, thanks for watching. And we will see y'all at this time next week. So y'all take care. Have a great rest of the week. And it'll be July 1st next week. My goodness. We'll already be halfway through the year.
I thought you were out next week.
No, the week after. Yeah. Yep.
So the 8th and the 15th.
Yes.
Okay. All right. We'll post that.
Yeah.
A little bit of behind the scenes. There you go. We forgot, in case you didn't know.
So everybody take it easy, and we will see you next week.